From its inception, Canadian education has been a space for conflict between larger ideological and ethnic parties. Throughout the early to mid-19th century, a time when all of Canada was looking to establish an identity, the level of centralized control over schooling generated conflict between French Catholic and Protestant English people. Broadly speaking, Upper and Lower Canada. From the perspective of the French, who had previously operated relatively autonomous schools, the government's attempts at formal education, organization, and curriculum mandates were seen as a danger to their cultural stability, especially given their English political alignment. In response, and in keeping with many reform policies of the time, they pushed for local supervision, electoral responsibility, and the general decentralization of their schools. In response, especially to the rebellions around 1841, the conservative federal government pushed for centralization in order to instill a sense of national values, culture, and loyalty. Believing instead in the technical competence and worth of officials, they decried the local ignorance of minority populations they believed to be disloyal to the British authority and, worse yet, aligned with American interests. The reaction to the division within the country culminated within the unification in 1841 and in education with Egerton-Ryerson 1846 Common School Bill. This legislation, which contained several significant reforms, notably included the expansion of the role of superintendents and otherwise strengthened central control of school structure. Even after the 1850 Schools Act, which enhanced some aspects of electoral and local control, the landscape of Canadian education remained mainly standardized and bent as much as possible towards assimilation. This mission notably included the disastrous residential school program from 1876 into the late 20th century. Here, and in related federal programs starting in the 1950s, linguistic, cultural, and religious aspects of the Aboriginal peoples were systematically suppressed.
Created using Powtoon.